guys. Today we're joined with Melbourne-based producer Department, also known as Adam Kyriakou. So, Adam, would you please take a seat?
It's a pleasure to be here, man. Genuinely. First time meeting face to face, and just a real special event.
I want to say the pleasure is all mine. You know,
Likewise, man. Likewise.
Having lived with this album of yours
Record
for the past couple days, it's really like washed over me, and I felt a certain type of way listening to it. You know, there's euphoric moments, there's moments of absolute beauty and darkness, and within that darkness you can also find the beauty, and I think that's a real testament to your character. Just knowing you for the few moments that I've known you, and just getting, you know, behind the scenes, we're at the back having a laugh, having a couple of drinks, you know how we get, you know. It's just been wild, and it's really opened up the album to me, you know, whether it's from the trap drums or the 60s influence, all through to the, you know, you got the decades, like you go back a couple of years, 60s, 70s, 80s if you will.
Not quite 80s, kind of more 60s, tipping into the early 70s, the psychedelic era kind of existing a bit, but kind of cut off by the end of 68. But still bleeding into the early 70s, you know what I mean?
Interesting you say that. Art is open for interpretation. I'm definitely getting that age influence, but
fair enough.
The first thing that stands out with you is Melbourne. And this is the
city of dreams.
The city of dreams. This is a very Melbourne album.
You think so?
I really do think so. You can hear the Melbourne culture, I guess, coming through. And I wanted to pick your brain a bit and just get to know how Melbourne as a city has influenced you.
Is that we're kind of in touch with the world, but we're kind of distant. And Australia as a country, we're kind of part of the wider sort of earth. But we're also disconnected from society as general. So it's like I see myself as I'm connected with what's happening in America, what's happening in Britain with drill, you know, UK drill, Chicago drill, and, you know, the American sound, trap, and blah, you know, hip hop. But like there's this kind of disconnect. So we're kind of influenced.
Disconnect.
Yeah.
I want to jump on that.
You do?
Disconnect.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the first thing with this album that I get is connection. And here you are saying disconnect? Elaborate.
Well, it's disconnect and connection. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Because, as I said, I'm working on something. I'm in my room on my own. But
crazy stuff.
You know what I mean?
Crazy stuff.
Yeah.
I want to touch on that. Dumb Angel, the title track of the album.
Yeah, the second tune.
We have a snippet.
You do?
Yeah, we have a snippet, and we're going to play that for the audience. And I just want to know if you have any words for the audience to prepare for this this kind of hit single off the album, if you will. Just a few words for me.
What I think about this tune, and the reason why I even put it so early on the record, is because I see it just more of a sort of, it's almost like a microcosm of what I do. Overview of everything, but it's enough to grab you.
Now, a fun thing that we do with our artists here is...
And I'm a big fan of
stop it, Tom. I'm a big fan of you.
Thank you, man. Seriously, I've been watching the show for years now, and I just think that you are so... You are so in depth. You clearly care about the art that surrounds you. And that's why I'm here, man. I wouldn't come on here if I wasn't speaking to someone that deeply cared about the art that we create, that you love to talk about, and you know and love so deeply.
Well, the only reason we do this type of show is for people like you to come on, these unique minds that just have something to offer to the world that you don't see that often. It's quite rare.
Thank you. Thanks, man. Thank you.
So the fun thing I like to do with artists is so we pick a single and we say, if this single is a car, What car would it be? We're doing the title track, Dumb Angel. The audience just heard a snippet of it. What would it be?
I see it as like a Lincoln Town car. Elegiac. Ornate.
Interesting.
I don't know anything about cars, so I don't know why you're asking me that question, but
It's a fun thing we like to do. We get a couple of strange answers, if you will, off that. But so moving on to the next track.
Next question. What is it?
The next track.
I'm excited. Oh, the next track. So we're skipping the first song on the record. Is that what we're doing, or?
To me, first songs of the album. It's the amuse-bouche, if you will, of the
the tone setter, if you will.
Yes. So I tend to skip them sometimes and just get into the meat, the meat and potatoes.
You shouldn't. Yeah, you shouldn't.
Interesting, you say that.
You shouldn't do that.
Anyway, Dreams of Youth.
Yeah.
Track 3. You have these absolute gorgeous vocals coming through.
Yeah.
It springs to my mind. You've got these beautiful female vocals, like you got your Whitney Houstons.
No, I'm not quite.
I haven't finished it. Yeah. Mariah Carey's, and I just want to know what your thoughts are on the female voice. Why you are so attracted to that? Because it's sprinkled throughout the album.
I just find that there's something about a woman's voice that just so perfectly works with my kind of 21st century psychedelic pop. You know what I mean? It just works so... It's in simpatico.
Interesting.
It just works so perfectly. It's
very interesting.
But I guess it's sort of harkening back to those Phil Spector productions where he would
Phil Spector. I'm glad you brought him up. One of my favourite songs by him is In the Air Tonight. The way he was able to...
What song was that?
In the Air Tonight?
That's Phil Collins. Different dude. Different dude, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Different dude.
Mariah Carey.
Yeah.
One
of the greats, really genuinely when it comes to, writing.
Sprinkled through the album, singing, I've noticed, and I can really tell her influence on you as an artist.
Yeah, I think she's a genius. I think she's genuinely one of the greats.
And I want to know what your thoughts are on another female. What is her name again? She was a bit.
The singer. Ariana Grande. Who's you thinking of?
So who's the bigger baddie in department's eyes? Who's the baddie?
I'm just trying to create, a real sort of safe space for women. So I don't think that's quite the sort of question that's appropriate. Just kind of, yeah. I think they're both brilliant artists and brilliant individuals. I don't think they necessarily need to be compared.
Yep.
For podcast banter, if you will.
And then we move on to the 3-part track. Now that's the one that really blew my socks, and it feels like you wanted to make a statement there. It
is 12 to 14 minutes. Yeah.
Still lives, distant paths.
No, it's close, but strange, but I'm not going to tell you how to do your job.
I am the captain now of my show.
Sure thing, yeah.
You have artists that are just, boxed in, and it sounds like you are free of that. The shackles are off, if you will.
I didn't say anything, though. You know what I mean? I didn't say anything. What shackles are you talking about?
So part 2. You know what? I want to know why. How is it? Humans one decade we're there in the Romans and we're gladiators and we're struggling with tigers, you know, in the Colosseum, and then you transport to now,
Tigers,
if you will. Just amuse me for a second. I go on a bit of tangents here, you know me, and then you fast forward to now, and we're locked in this world where, you know, these tigers in these Colosseums,
these
aren't.
metaphorical tigers, because we're not dealing with them.
Exactly,
Yes,
exactly. And it's a lot more subtle now, but you see these things in like Spotify, and you kind of look at them as the modern day tiger, if you will, and they're just kind of just eating and just devouring these artists. And I want to know your thoughts on it.
On what? Sorry.
Track
On Spotify.
7.
No, so part 2.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, I think Spotify has just created a sort of environment where they've tried to make it so that artists are tailored towards, like, the way they want things, where it's Spotify normalization or this need to put out a constant stream of music to entertain an audience with, you know, kind of very limited, you know, very limited attention span. So I guess this record's just kind of a real. It's not really a streaming era record. It's just kind of a record in the mold of what they were doing in the 60s and the 70s, which is like this complete piece that you have to listen to from back to front, which is kind of at odds to what I guess Spotify wants. And, you know, live beyond that. I'm not making it for that.
Live beyond.
You know.
And at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do. Leave a legacy. And as we move forward to part 3, that legacy is definitely heard. You know, you've got boom bap production.
Boom bap?
Harkening back to...
Boom bap?
I would say it's boom bap.
I love that era.
I would say
I wouldn't say it
boom
sounds
bap.
like that. I guess I'm very just deeply influenced by.
That's where we say art is up for interpretation, because I'm picturing RZA, the Jizza, the Ghostface Killer, just all over this track, and yeah, I want to know how, why.
What? What do you mean?
Exactly, what do we mean? And when we listen to something like this, that's what I was asking myself. I'm like, what does this all mean? Because, you know, it's just some interesting stuff. And as we grow into track 3 and this grand entrance, just
part 3 of the longer piece.
Yeah. The outro.
Yeah.